All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for, I'd say, being here, but technically not really being here, but being part of this. Greatly appreciate it. I know that the board is appreciates it. So please join me in pledge of allegiance at this time. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gene, you have to turn yours off. You can just look at all the feedback. Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hey Jay, how you doing?
Okay.
So the purpose of this meeting, and I'm just gonna go over, I'm not gonna say rules, but maybe some guidelines. So if you want to speak, so we're not speaking on top of one another, just if you have something to say, just please let me know you have something to say, and then we'll acknowledge you, and then you can say what you wish to say. All right, that way we're not speaking on top of one another. All right, so the purpose of this meeting here is really to get input from the officers in the fire department. We really want to see where people are and what they feel and what they're looking for in an interim chief at this point. So that's really what this is about. We want to see, as you as officers, really what you're looking for, some of the requirements that you feel would be a good chief. We're not looking for names, things like that. We just want to know what, as an officer, that what you would like to see in a chief or an interim chief at this time. Okay? All right. So with that said, who would like to go first?
If nobody else is going to speak up, I've always got a mouthful.
All right, Billy, go right ahead.
All right, so one of the things that is important to myself is to try to get somebody that's got an overall feel for the department, the personnel, the way that Granby operates as a department as a whole, I think is one of the most important things. You know, some names have came up of bringing in people that have stepped in the past as intern. I wasn't a big fan of any of that. I don't think there was any benefit to anybody. They just kind of came in during the day, seen things through on the day-to-day operation. And
Billy, you muted yourself. Billy, can you hear me? Billy, you muted. Can you hear me? Billy.
Billy, you have muted yourself. Nobody can hear you.
One of you guys try waving to him.
Billy.
Would you like input from anybody else in the meantime?
Well, I want to make sure that he knows that we can't hear him. That's all.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hey, Billy, you muted yourself.
No. Maybe you could try texting him or something, but
I just did.
Jay said he just did, so okay.
I'm sorry, I had an incoming call and it muted me.
All right,
So-
so Billy, we haven't, I mean, past 3 minutes you were speaking and we didn't really hear anything that you said. I know you talked about the department and some of the requirements, and last thing I think we heard you say when we had people from before that came in and basically all they did was there for the day shift.
So what I was trying to say was, like I said, I'd like to see somebody come in that has a feel for the personnel. Day and at night. Before I got cut off, I was making it clear that, as we go on, I had stated to everything that I was interested in the position. That's no longer the case. I can't, there's no possible way. What I have to say, I don't want you to think that I'm trying to set myself up for any kind of consideration. But I'll tell you, being on the department, I'm one of the longest members on this conference call right now, other than Bruce. And I think there's a huge advantage to having somebody that's promoted within the department. I think even just giving it first consideration, it shows a lot of the members that their dedication and their sacrifice of going to school and trying to get the qualifications that into the department are, it should show that the town recognizes that and gives them first consideration for either a position like this or through advancement. We do have a few members on here that should absolutely.
Billy, Glenn Sexton, it was difficult to hear a lot of what you were saying. You're kind of going in and out, and I hope this time you can hear what I'm saying, because I think I can only speak for myself, but I think a lot of people couldn't hear some of the things that you were saying towards the middle there. You're going in and out.
Did I get, my phone keeps ringing in, so I'm sorry. Did that cut out again?
You
It
did.
did.
You cut off for a little bit, then you came back in towards the end.
All right, well, you may as well move on to somebody else. So that, did you get the part that I said I really wanted to see it stay in-house, and that I believe we got the right candidates for it in-house, or at least give them a shot?
Yeah, we did hear that, and you talked about the dedication piece as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, gentlemen, for listening. Sorry for the confusion.
All right.
And ladies.
Who would like to be next? If you just kind of, well, if I can see you, if you raise your hand, I would know. If not, just speak up right now, and if you want to be next.
I'll go next, I guess.
Okay.
And I muted myself again. So I think my thoughts are, I think we need to have somebody who's, I'm going to bring up a name, Russ Anderson. The way he was with the community, the way he worked for the community, he brought in programs for the I mean, I know of people in the department that I would like to see move up. I also, there's good candidates outside of the department too. So I'm torn on whether or not to have somebody who is from inside, if there's a good candidate on the outside. I mean, I think, definitely being willing to learn themselves, taking classes, would be good. Working with FCAM would be nice this time around, to help the new chief, whoever it is, to help them transition into the way things are in the area, because they also need help from outside the department too. But for the most part, I'm pretty good with anybody who would be willing to work with us, is the best I could put.
All right, I appreciate that. Anybody else at this time?
I guess I'll throw my 2 cents in. Or 3
Okay.
cents. I guess the one thing we got to look for is someone that's relevant in the fire service at this time, because whoever shows up for the interim, the day that Chief Carpenter walks away is the day that we have 5 nights that we don't have officer coverage. So we're going to need to have something hitting the ground running. And that's going to be a big bump to get over when we first start this thing, when he goes into retirement.
Al, is there anything else they have?
Not right now that I can think of. I'm sure I'll think of something in a minute, but not right now.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Is there anybody else that's on the line now before we go to the people that are here?
This is Tony, if no one else is going to speak.
All right. Go ahead, Tony.
So, thank you. Definitely all good points brought up. I think the fundamental thing to think about, for me at least, is that this is an interim person. So what we're not looking for is somebody that's going to come in and make waves and make huge changes, redirections, things of that nature. I agree with what was said before, that we need somebody that can hit the ground running, that is relevant and active in the fire service today. In addition, I think it would be good if that person is, as Pike says, is community minded, but is also able to work with other departments. We've had challenges in the past with regards to that, and we've been able to mend some bridges as of recent. I like to continue that because we're going to need it, honestly. And then it'll be good to try and get a little creative with regards to being able to train and things like that, to get the fire force back together in terms of training capabilities. That's what I got for you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that as well. Is there anybody else? Okay. All right. Well, at that time, Gene, you're in here. Do you want to speak on anything?
Well, I gave you obviously.
Yeah. But I mean, if you want to speak for other people to hear, that they didn't see your letters. So
I agree with everything that they said, and one of the reasons I put that forward is exactly what I feel as well. Somebody that's there, that has been working with the department, knows the people, knows the town, preferably grew up in town.
Yeah.
You know, just knows what's going on, and somebody's going to need to absolutely mention. We all know some of those bridges that were kind of torched down in the past 2 years. For whatever reason that might be, those things need to be mended. We need to move forward. Whoever is the chief coming up, I want to see them come in. I want to see them know the fire service. I want them certified. We have a lot, Tyler and I do a lot with training, a lot moving forward, doing things right now to move us forward. From even 30 days ago, some of the things we purchased and changing and going back to correctly. Bruce has been working with us and changing with the run cards, and we got a lot going on right now. If it weren't for COVID, we'd be able to do a little bit more, but obviously right now we're a little bit limited. We've got a plan on what we want to do. Hopefully it gets a little better before it gets worse, and we'll be putting it into play. And hopefully beginning of September, getting back to doing the fire training, EMS training. I have some things on board that I'm going to be doing as far as online things, just like what we're doing here. It's kind of the way we have to move forward. I kind of put that up to you just kind of to see if you guys had any questions while we were here to me. I'd like to hear what Bruce has to say, but I think one of the good things right now is I truly feel that right now, the department as a whole is on the same page. We're all looking for the same thing. We all just want to move forward. We want to keep things moving in the direction we are now. It just makes things even better than this. And that's really what we want.
Oh, thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. I know the other board members do as well. Bill, go ahead, Billy.
So with that it said about like the structure of the department, and like Al said and Tony said, hitting the ground running. One of the things, and I hope everybody agrees on me with this, the day crew does a great job of pretty much self-policing and running themselves. That side of our department is running extremely well right now. We're really lacking on not only through firefighter personnel, but all of us as officers. We're not being held accountable for shifts. And when Bruce leaves, like Al said, we're really going to leave the town kind of bare on officers and stuff. So the guy that's coming in really has to have a good understanding of what happens between 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. It's another half of our department. And right now it's a very empty half. So it's very concerning at times. I've been injured for the last few weeks, and I listen to a lot what's going on. And it's kind of concerning because we're not getting the people showing up. We're not getting officers showing up. Myself, I'm as guilty as everybody else. But the guy coming in needs to understand that 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift is just as important as the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. shift. And we really gotta get somebody that's gonna pull that night crew back together and motivate us and get us back out there. The chief did the past chief did a lot of things that kind of drew us all apart because of lack of accountability for following the rules, everybody in a power play at night for who's in charge, just different things. So we need that guy that's gonna come in, set standards, follow the standards, hold us accountable for what's going on, and run the night crew. We need to get that night crew back on track. And that's why I think by going with an in-house guy, whether it's a day crew guy or a call guy, they know where that part is. And they know where we can improve to keep everybody safe. Right now, that 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. crew is kind of scary, and we want to make sure that they're safe. And I'd like you guys to consider that the most when you're appointing that guy to come in and lead the department through this transition. The transitional part is going to be the big one, because hopefully when the new guy steps in, he's going to step in to a department that's running like a fine lube machine. We have the personnel, we have the talent, we just need some good leadership right now. And like I said before, I think it's really important that the town shows first consideration of the people that we have here. It's going to go a long way with morale. If you look at it and you don't find the candidate you want as interim chief, we'll all understand it. But before you bring in Seifert and other people to fill that position, I would try to really let us pull it together as officers or as a department and see if we can get this place back on track. So when we make that permanent appointment, he's got a good crew to work with. I hope that makes sense.
Well, thank you, Bill. I do appreciate that. And I think that's, I know I'm speaking for myself, but I would imagine I'm speaking for the other board members as well. But we feel that the leadership that's in the department right now is definitely a qualified leadership with our officers, our lieutenants, and obviously our chief at this time. So I wouldn't expect anything less from that department. I think what I've seen over the past month or so, just really the department coming together, really growing together and bonding together as well. So I think that speaks. Yes, go ahead, Gene.
Okay, so I just want to address exactly what you brought up.
Yep.
There's one thing he needs to know. We've had massive enthusiasm from the department. There's 4 or 5 different names that we've done the quotes, run the applications. I have 2 or 3 that have already gone through the physicals. But once again, due to COVID-19, I can't get them in there and get going. They're just chopping with the bit. We understand there's a nighttime officer issue, just a small issue because we've had it for a while. A lot of people have lives, they work all week long. A lot of the nighttime officers have they all have full-time jobs in other industries. And when it comes to the weekend, like anybody, they want some time with their families. So the weekend is actually our problem. We have a plan to address it. We're going to need a little bit of time to get through COVID, where we can kind of do some internal promotions, bring some more people online that can take those positions. Hopefully, you know, someday Billy is able to come back and work. He hasn't worked in 3 or 4 months. It's a hole when you're limited in personnel. It's a hole when you're limited in nighttime officer staff as well. Right now, we can't overcome it basically. We have thoughts on moving people up, promoting people, getting, you know, just keeping that enthusiasm going forward by getting more people. Like I said, we have people sitting in meetings and I can't even do an orientation. I can't even build it.
Yeah, and that's good to hear. And maybe with that same thing, Gene, and moving forward as a separate topic, but that's things we need to look at doing, because, you know, life doesn't stop. I know for myself, work at the sheriff's department, we're still hiring people. We're still having academies. You know, we just had an academy graduate about a month ago. So things don't stop. So we need to look at, and it's important. If people are willing and able right now to join a fire department, we should be looking at ways to get them in there and then get them appointed and get them trained. Without a doubt, we got to figure that out.
I've used the time period. Fortunately, the board and Chris have funded that EMT we have every day, and that is going. It's been fantastic. They've gotten more experience in the last 3 or 4 months than they've gotten the whole career, because they're able to work on a medic truck or side by side with us, and that's one person in the climate bring up and really show them how the job is done. I'd love to be able to do more of that fire side. We're going to have a plan to do it Monday, Tuesday, and do it safely so we can move forward. Tyler and I are already looking at to do a live burn, close movement through a building, and a lot of things at the beginning of September. We want to get right back to it and get going as safely as we can. Right now, summertime, everybody's on vacation.
Yeah, understandable, but I think you kind of talked about, you're thinking about it and you're going in the right direction, thinking about things like that, and know that they need to be done. And I think, you know, you talked about an action plan. I think that's important. Okay. Was there anybody else that wanted to speak at this time?
Hi, Glenn. Could the public speak?
Rick, yeah, absolutely. I'll listen to you.
Okay, I had a question. I keep hearing everybody say he this, he that for a new fire chief. Would are female personnel considered for this position? And would any of the current fire personnel who are listening on this meeting object to a female being the new fire chief? And 2, are any communities surrounding us, do they have a female fire chief?
I can't speak to the surrounding communities. The few communities that I know of, they do not. And I'm not putting words in people's mouth, but I think they just use the term as maybe as guy and stuff like that as I think it's just a term. But all means this board will consider the best applicant for the position. Regardless. That's. But
Go
I'll say this, it's a universal mistake in the fire service. We always speak about firemen, and we mean people, whether it's man, woman, whatever. We're all just one big family. We don't mean to single anybody out.
But I do believe, that, as I said, that this board will appoint the best candidate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The town of Goshen has Sue LeBrie.
What's that, Jay? Goshen
Town
does?
of Sue LeBrie.
Okay, all right. Now I was thinking like in South Hadley, Belchertown. Okay. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. All right. Does anybody else have any input before I go to chief? No? All right, chief, if you would, please.
Well, my thought would be great if we could bring somebody from the inside to this interim position, but I don't really see it happening. At least my opinion is it can't be anybody that is gonna go for the big position. The interim is the separate issue, the separate mix. Bring some. There, as the interim, that gets them a way in versus Micheline and Kyle. So I would prefer that the interim be a non-candidate big position. That limits who's available for on the current. That's just an opinion of mine. I don't want to show favorites, so the town doesn't want to show favorites. They need to go in the big picture. They need to go outside and make the best candidate. Yes, the local people. Part-time people, yeah, somebody dedicated, somebody that's got a small town mentality would be nice, because they tend to be more social and interactive. Not here. So that's why we're like probably somebody outside that's been involved in a smaller department.
Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going to reach out to two other board members at this time if they have any suggestions or input. Jay, we'll start off with you. Do you have anything you want to bring up or state?
No, I just I go along with Bruce. When we get ready to hire the new fire chief, we owe it to the residents to get the best qualified. And if it turns out the person is currently on the fire department, that's fine. But we need to advertise outside as well as inside to give the residents the best bang for their buck. Because we don't know who's out there. Nobody does, unless you ask.
Operating a bulldozer or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm getting an awful lot of feedback. I don't know if who's ever controlling it, if they could actually mute everybody except the speaker. That would be helpful, please.
All right, and people might have wondered what kind of, I don't know if everybody heard that, the feedback that was going on. Jen, do you have anything you want to bring up? Okay.
Can I respond to what you said before you move on?
Who's talking?
This is Billy.
All right, well, Jen's she wants to make a comment. She wants to talk a little bit, so we're gonna give her the floor at this point to talk. So I'm gonna ask if everybody can just be considerate and let her speak.
All right, thanks, guys. I've been listening to everybody, and looking for what they want. If you guys could just give me in a word or two characteristics of what your ideal interim would be, I would love to have them, whether it's leadership, honorable, just random, one word association, please, and go.
I'll give you one.
Experience.
You hear me?
I'm gonna ask, Jen's gonna actually call everybody out by name to make it a little easier. If not, I'm sure people are gonna step on top of each other. So if you don't have anything, then that's fine too.
Brian.
How is that better? I don't know if I have a specific word. I just think willing to work with the other people. I don't know if that helps.
Al.
I'll go with experience and time in as officer.
Billy?
I would go with experience and commitment. They need a 24-hour commitment. That's probably the most important. It's a 24-hour department.
Tyler?
Billy took mine, but being committed, but I would say adaptable.
Tony, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm here. Everybody kind of took all the good ones, so I'll go the mushy side. Somebody who is honest and kind.
You just broke up on me.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry. Like I said, I go a little bit more on the soft skills, but being kind and feedback, honest, kind feedback for everyone.
Thank you. Anybody else want to jump in on this before I get Jean and Bruce?
Bruce. I was gonna go with Tony, Tom, Pool, and Pose. We did cover that, you know. We covered the experience side already, so.
Jean?
Maybe dedicated.
I didn't know if you came with another one. What was it? Lovable. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. So does anybody have any questions? Like, I guess any questions or anything like that for the board? Any of the board members?
Can I ask one?
This is Tony. No,
Who's that speaking? Tony, you have a question for the board or a board member?
Sir. Yes, well, yes, if you don't mind, just kind of going over what the process would be and timing.
Well, I think the board is really going to try to have someone in place before September 8th or on September 8th. You know, that I think that's the goal of the board.
My information from the retirement board, last day of the month that I turned 65, so we have a couple week push again if we need it.
Oh, so well, that's
helpful.
That's very helpful. So we have a little more extra time to
Chris is doing some magic.
All right,
We're
well,
not leaving it high and dry.
but again, I think our goal is to have definitely someone in place. And if we have someone that's gonna be in place, I would hope maybe now knowing the chief's gonna be there most likely to the end of September. I think if we could have someone in place at least probably a week or two before the chief does leave, so there is some type of transition from one person coming in and one person leaving. That's definitely something that I would like to see. Jay or Jen, do you have anything on that? No. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. No one has any other comments or feedback at this time. I think we're good. I can tell you for myself as a board member, I'm a strong believer in a certain type of leadership, which is called servant leadership. And if you don't know about it, I would ask you to take some time and do some research on it. And it's servant leadership. And what's really about is an individual, person that really is involved with the supervision of his or her staff. And it's someone that knows really much being part of the team, but also leading the team and understanding a lot of the functions that go along with it. So that's definitely something that I look at, that I will be looking at as we're looking at a solid candidate for the position, for the interim position. I think that's for people to understand too, is that that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at a position as an interim chief for the fire department. This isn't a posting for a permanent chief. This is for us to have someone in place until a permanent chief is appointed. So, which will take some additional time, and I'm sure this board will set up a committee as other boards have done in the past, really to look and get the best qualified person to best qualified and the best fit. I think would be a good word to for the department.
And you brought Chief Anderson on board. Service versus a group of residents. Would that be something you might want to consider?
I think this board would consider that. I do. I think like I said, our goal as this board is to have the best person in place to lead the department, and whatever that takes for us to get that person, that's what I think we're going to do. I think we're all committed to that, without a doubt.
Can I ask you a question? So
yes.
Is it possible, say that hypothetically you chose somebody through inside the department and they were intern for a year and they proved that they were capable of the job and things were going really well, would you consider not reposting the job and just appointing that individual, kind of like the way South Hadley did it? I mean, could this be a try run to see if maybe one of our guys can lead our department, and if they prove themselves, we could just keep them and not go through the process of trying to find another individual? I can tell you right now, this is going to be my 6th fire chief, and every time they come in, it's something different for the department. So if we get an interim chief and he's doing a great job, I would ask you to consider making him the full-time chief if he was willing to take it. There's something to be said about changing the leadership in the department. It's a difficult time for everybody. He's got a lot of souls to meet. He's got a lot of personalities to figure out. And it's a really difficult time for the department going through another fire chief. This is our 6th one. And I can tell you, every time you should hear the chatter behind the scenes. It's very difficult. So I would ask, if we get the right candidate and he's doing the job, why spend the money? Why go through the hassle? Let's keep him in there and let him make a career out of Granby. I mean, we got a couple of younger guys in there that might be able to do it. and we could have them for 30 years and we won't ever have to have this conversation again in my lifetime. I think that would be fantastic.
That's I understand what you're saying, but I think, again, I'm just going to speak for myself, and the other board members can speak for themselves as well. But we want I know I want the best qualified person in that position, and not just the best qualified, but again, as I said before, is the best fit for that department, to bring everything together. Not, the people are not going to like or think that the person that's there is the best person. That's just the way it is. Doesn't matter where you go, what you do. But our hope is that the majority of the people there feel that way, and whoever the interim person may be, and if it is someone that's inside and they choose to put in for a position, absolutely. People will be considered. But again, I think it's for us to make sure that we put the best qualified person and the best fit into that position to lead the department forward. Jay or Jen, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add. No.
The only thing I have to add is we want to take our time and get it right.
Is someone talking or? No. If caller 3 could, I don't know, can you identify yourself? I can't hear the person.
I think that might be Tony.
Nope, I'm here.
Oh,
I can hear you well.
Tony's one.
So for caller 3 at this time, we can't hear you. At least I can't. I don't think anyone else can as well.
Okay, we're gonna do it in at 8 o'clock. Everybody.
Okay. No, it's not Tyler. Tyler, his name is up here. I don't know who caller 3 is. I don't know if they're actually speaking at this time, but we can't hear the person.
Hi, Glenn. Kevin O'Grady. I think I may be caller 3. Sorry, I thought I was muted. I'm just listening in.
Oh, nice and clear now. But you must have moved somewhere. All right. Well, then I guess if anybody else has any further input, would be glad to hear it right now. If not, I guess we'll bring this meeting to closure.
Glenn, do you mind? I have a really quick question. I know that you folks mentioned taking your time with this and kind of going off of an earlier question about the timeline. How long do you speculate roughly this committee will take to hire a permanent chief? 1 year, 2 years? Just curious.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have a committee formed at this time, and we don't even know if that's the way we're going to go. So that's first things first is that we need to have a interim chief put in place, and then we can start the next part of looking for a permanent chief for the department.
Great, thank you.
Is that it? Anything else for anybody? No. All right. At this time,
Thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and really thank you for everybody who participated in this. It's greatly appreciated, and for some of the officers or staff that were not able to be part of this, please take the time, reach out to one of the select board members, or please reach out to Chris Martin. And if you'd like to send an email or a letter, we'd be glad to hear from you, without a doubt. So everybody's thoughts and opinions are definitely valued, and they're well heard. And I don't want anybody to think that anything different. Definitely value everybody's thoughts and opinions tonight. without a doubt. And I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to take part in this. So with that said, I will entertain a motion to finish the meeting.
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Is there any further discussion at this time? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.